Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another interesting and imperial, I don't know.
Imperial?
What was the letter I?
What?
The letter of the day is I?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Incredible.
Oh.
Another incredible.
I thought you were Imperial. I'm like, is this a Star Wars episode?
Look, yes.
Okay.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was an engineer. I am the engineer. Hello, it's me, Lady Ada. And with me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control and posting up the code in the chat. That's pretty much what he's good for.
Yeah, I can open up jars and stuff too.
Nice work opening jars and reaching tall things. We've got an exciting show tonight. All sorts of exciting things, new products, videos, multimeters, tutorials, robots, coupon codes, everything. Tell them what's on today's show.
On today's show, the code is standoff. Get up, stand off.
Standoff
for your
yeah.
No, standoff
Standoff
for a discount. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We're going to talk about the show and tell. It was the biggest, most massive show and tell we've had in history. We had some folks who stopped by from the Oracle Education Foundation. It's a big deal. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Hey, I've got this letter, and we can talk about it. We can meet. Everything will be okay. I'm going to just read it. Okay. Help wanted. Adafruit Jobs Board, the best place in the world to post your skills or to get a cool maker job. Some news in the world of open source hardware and Arduino. Big news, actually. Adafruit Learning System. Hundreds of tutorials online to learn, to share, to favorite. It's a new feature. Time travel. We're going to have a look back in the world of makers, hackers, scientists, and engineers. Wearables. We have a cool video that I'm calling Becky on the Street.
Street Becky.
We have a cool world premiere video from Noah and Pedro that I just downloaded and saw. It's pretty cool. We're going to have new products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a trivia question, all that and more on Ask an Engineer. That's right. Okie dokie. So let's do this thing.
We're doing this thing.
Yeah, so reminder, code of standoff all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. It's discounts on everything that's in stock except for EagleCAD and gift certificates because that's software and that's soft goods, virtual goods.
Yeah, we can't give you discounts on money.
Can't do that.
That'd be kind of cool because then you could buy more gift certificates with the discounted money and then buy more and then you would have infinite money.
Yeah.
We can't give away infinite money.
Yeah, after Chase shut down Madoff, they stopped offering that as a service. Sorry, no more Ponzi schemes.
But everything else in the store that ships to you physically is 10% off.
Okay, today's show from R is Robotics is brought to you by the letter I. This week, I. And I is for iRobot, one of the biggest, best, most known robotics company in the world. iRobot co-founder, Helen Greener, I think I got her name right.
Yeah.
This
is her with her pet robot.
Yeah.
Hey.
She was the co-founder.
Just diffusing some bombs here.
Yeah, and she's currently working on Sci-Fi Works, which is a drone company, and she's formerly the co-founder. Oh, I guess you're always a co-founder of iRobot. And what a lot of people don't know is when iRobot went public, they actually let one of the bots ring the bell.
This kind of robot.
Yeah, this is the first time a robot has rang the stock market bell.
What's interesting is iRobot has basically two industries, right? They do military robots that defuse IEDs, that's kind of what they do. They're the ones that go in and they have little grabbers and they can just defuse bombs because if it doesn't work out, well, you can probably repair the robot, but it's really hard to repair a human if it gets blown to bits. And also the Roomba and Scuba and other robots. And we have the refurbished Roombas that get turned into iRobot crates, and those are in the store. Yeah,
and they're one of our favorite companies too. And Helen, every time people ask us who's a hero, who's someone you look up to, we always say Helen because I think Helen is one of the few people that she's kind of done it all. She reminds me of you in a lot of ways too. She's this MIT engineer. She went to found a high technology company. And one of my favorite recent things that happened was it was Helen and Chris Anderson and a few other people that are active on Twitter who talk about drones. And we all listened into the FAA drone call, and we're all live tweeting.
Yeah, that was cool.
We're all live tweeting.
They said they had
800
people on the call. They're normally we have normally these these government agency calls are we have 3 people and it's one of them is an analyst.
Yeah.
And one of them is just a super nerd, but they had a couple hundred people listening in. It was actually kind of a problem.
So if
everyone was tweeting it.
If you're also interested in probably one of the best Twitter feeds in the world about drones and kind of robot culture and things like that, Helen's Twitter feed, just search for Helen iRobot, Helen Greener.
She totally would not hurt robots. She loves robots.
Yeah, no, she makes very helpful robots. That seems to be her thing. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what the letter is this week. The show is brought to you by the letter I.
Incredible.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, when you buy stuff from us, $200 or more free UPS ground shipping, continental U.S., reliable, trackable, shippable. UPS shipping is what we use. Okay, Lady Ada, do your best to keep up with this list of people that we had. The show and tell was massive. We had our usual suspects. We had Tony DeCola, Noam Pedro, and then special guest Becky, who introduced the Oracle Education Foundation.
Yep.
Take it away.
Yeah, so we had a special edition of Show and Tell. So we actually only had a select group of people because there was one camera.
There's a lot.
But 20 people. So we had to make sure that they had the 15, 20 minutes that they needed to show off the projects of 10 people. We start off with Tony Nicola, who is from Adafruit Northwest, and showed off some NTAG experimentation. NTAG is the new type of RFID NFC tag that's used in Nexus phones, Android phones, and probably the future iPhones that have NFC capability. I think would the iPhone 6 have NFC, or I don't remember.
iPhone 6.
Or is it the next version is going to have NFC?
Dude,
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I'm so out of the Apple game.
Yeah.
But I know that they added NFC, which was not expected. I didn't expect NFC to be supported by Apple. But NTAG is the new standard that's going to be supported by all phones and devices.
I have to look.
The old My Fair standard isn't supported anymore. Anyway, so Tony Nicola is trying it out, and he got it to work with the new Nexus 7. So we're going to be ordering some tags. And it works with our PN532 reader writer.
Yeah, maybe someone can chat. I completely don't remember what the new iPhones. I thought they didn't support it.
They do.
Forget.
I think they said the next version of iOS would support NFC. Well, didn't they?
Well, it's Apple Pay, so they have to.
Yeah, that's right. Apple Pay is NFC.
So whatever's in stores that support the payment system.
Yeah. Okay. I know. So I got distracted there because I was like, wait a minute, I haven't heard of it. And then Noah and Pedro showed off this little Hudson mini drone that they bought. It's a little micro drone with a camera in it, and it's just like this small. So if it flies at your face, you probably won't have to go to the hospital, which is like kind of what the irises they're kind of scary because they're like flying blenders. It's like a little mini drone, a little micro drone.
Yeah, they're cute.
And it has a camera built into it and a battery, and they're going to maybe 3D print a new body for it, or like prop guards or something. And they say it has like 7 minutes of flight, and I don't know, they're having fun playing with this little mini drone. And then we had a jam-packed Oracle workshop bonanza. We had a bunch of ladies from this California wearables workshop that was sponsored by Oracle. I guess it's on Oracle campus as part of an educational outreach. And we made a wearable pack. Becky made a wearable pack for them to learn Flora and Arduino and sensors. And so they had a whole bunch of sensors and LEDs and LED strips and Floras, and they learned electronics and programming. And so they showed off some of our projects. And I'm afraid that I tried to write down all the names, but I probably missed a few of them. So please watch the video because I didn't realize there was going to be so many people, so I forgot to write some of them down. We started with Savannah and her team. And they made a wearable $5 bill detector. So it's a color sensor connected to a Flora that when you hold it up to a $5 bill, it'll beep to let you know that it detected that bill. And so like you can use it to tell which currency you have, because one of the annoying things about American currency is it's all the same size and the same texture. Like there's no easy way by feel to detect which bill you have, unless it's like pre-folded or crimped, or cut. And So this is meant for people who are maybe can't see their bills, or maybe could also be used for like detecting money, in a one of those like bill detectors or something. Like when you go to the candy machines. I mean, they usually probably have credit card swipers now, but they used to be able to put $5 bills in, and they would detect exactly which bill you put in. So they used the color sensing scarf code, the color sensor, and a little piezo buzzer to beep. Next up was Nedley and Vivi, and they made a sign language interpreter glove that uses pressure sensors in the tips of the glove. And so when you press those together, it will know what sign you're trying to make with your hand. It will speak out that word. And so this is a way for people who only know American Sign Language, or maybe some other sign language, to communicate with people who don't know sign language. Ella and Michaela showed off a GPS locator that hangs around, looks like they're hanging around their neck, and it comes in a little wooden box that has a Flora, an ultimate GPS, and a beeper, and when you're within 200 meters of your location, it will beep and play a song to let you know, like, hey, like, you're at that location. Or maybe when you've gone 200 meters away from the location, it will tell you, hey, you're outside of the area in which you want to stay in. So they used probably the GPS jacket code and some other, the sunscreen hat.
Sunscreen hat mid-rounds, which is also based on the Mario code, which is cool.
Then Jessica showed off an LED wristband that she made that project. So when you're running or walking, when you have activity, it will light up and sparkle. So it's like a safety, maybe dance art piece. Candace, Lauren, and Amy showed up a Flora Motion activated light up socks. So apparently Amy, who was not able to make it, was really into socks. She really liked creative socks, and so they made NeoPixel socks that when you walk around, the socks sparkle. Like they have a Christmas tree sock. Like it has a Christmas tree embroidered on it, and they're going to have it sparkle. Then finally we had Whitney, Ashley, Samantha, and Anna, who showed off a workout bra that had a heart rate monitor built into it. And so, which is kind of handy because you're only going to wear this special piece of clothing, and it will press the heart rate electrodes close to your heart, so that kind of makes that easy. And then they have a strip that goes underneath, and so when their heart rate, when you reach your heart rate, it'll blink to let you know, like, hey, you reached your heart rate. And then maybe you suggested that they add a soundboard so that when they reach a certain heart rate, it starts playing Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
So
No, I actually think that what we might see soon, because that's something you can do now with all the stuff at Adafruit. I think what we'll see soon with something like the Apple Watch or any of the Android watches is eventually, as your music is controlled by something on your wrist, you'll also be able to get heart rate information or pulse rate information, and you'll do playlists based on what heart rate you want to keep your heart rate at.
Yeah,
Cyclists are crazy about this.
You can tell your heart rate just by looking at this
Yeah.
color of your skin changing just slightly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like you're not going to get like a full
But when you-
TRS wave, but you will get like
Yeah,
your basic heart rate.
and when you're exercising at a certain level, like in New York, cyclists are pretty mean because they don't want to slow down for anybody.
Yeah.
And they'll yell at you because they want to keep their heart rate up, like the hardcore ones.
Oh yeah, like Central Park. Yeah,
and
watch out.
they yell at you because they don't want to drop their heart rate. And so what you could do is have a specific playlist that could help keep your heart rate up so you can be angry with everybody while you cycle.
Okay, so anger music. So
Yeah.
that was the Oracle wearable workshop in California. Thank you, Oracle, for sponsoring these future scientists of America.
I said this on the show and tell, but I'll say it here too. So we get told a lot about these big companies. Oh, we're going to donate $300 million to this, or we're going to do
diversity programs,
diversity this or diversity that.
We care so much.
We care so much, and they talk to us and they say, well, like, will you come out or do a talk or something, or will you do something? And what we always say is, could you get the kids together to make projects and then like come on something like a show and tell? And Oracle, Oracle's Education Foundation is, I think, the first that I recall that actually followed through. They did a workshop. They had all these young women do electronics, and then they came on a show to show you, Lady Ada, the engineer, all this stuff, and Becky Stern, director of wearable electronics. So. You know, if you're at a big company and you want to have an impact, show the show and tell. Say, like, this is something that anyone can do. This is, you know, the hardest part was like coordinating the email to get onto the Google Plus link. Seriously. All right.
But we did it.
How do people get on the show and tell besides?
And all those people get stickers.
All the people get a sticker. That's correct. They
That's
get
right.
us as seen on the show and tell sticker.
And then next week we'll be back to our standard show and tell style. So I'm sorry if you didn't make it this week, but we wanted to make sure that all these fine ladies had a chance to show their project.
Okay, how do they get on the show and tell?
For next week, if you'd like to be on the show and tell, it's very easy. Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit. Look for the Adabot who's waving, hello, and the show and tell every Wednesday, and comment in that thread and say, hey, I'd like to show off your project, and we will right-click on your avatar and add you to the circle, and then you'll get invited along with the other 500 people to show off your project every single week. Next week, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Show off your project, your hackerspace, your makerspace, your tools, your craft project, your retrospective Radio Shack memorabilia.
Sounds like they can show us anything.
Your collection of 112 Radio Shack customer data dumps.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. Back to the mailbag. Every week we get letters from people, and we read them.
Good letters sometimes, too.
Really good letters sometimes.
Really good letters.
And this week we have a very cool letter that I'm going to, of course, find now. Maybe you can help me out here, Lady Ada. The mailbag letter.
Scroll up.
I have to find.
Let's find it.
Yeah. As you guys can tell, we were racing to do the show to get it done, and
I don't see it.
yeah, neither do I. So you know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Well, Packet's going to come back. Okay, look, so here's the deal. I gotta find this letter. things have been slowing down at the post office lately, and
Okay, wait, you found it.
we're trying to we're working on the delivery, and I promise you that your packages are going to arrive better. I mean it.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so Packet is, thanks Packet.
This is really
Yeah. All right.
Instant
So this from
mailbag.
Issa. There wasn't a line on the drop-down menu to choose praise and fan mail. I'm so excited to find you. I have an 8-year-old daughter who desperately wants to learn electronics and robotics. So happy to get her started. Her twin sister is more into arts and dance, but I'm going to get her some things too. Can't wait to see their faces. Issa. All right.
Okay.
Very cool. And you know what we found is people that are into arts and dance, as soon as they see what electronics can do, they get even more motivated.
That's cool. They could be like twin sisters who like do art and dance together and do electronics. They have a dance troupe that has like LED tiaras and like dance outfits that like stream sensor data.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Okay. Next up, Adafruit Jobs Board. All right, the best jobs board online. These are personally approved by Lady Ada and I. There are no headhunters or scams or any weird stuff. It's people who have skills that are makers, and maker companies want cool people. So this week, this is a part-time job, writer reviewer for pibot.com. If you are a person who wants to write reviews or things about Raspberry Pi stuff, you can. They're basically looking for someone who was going to review and write about Raspberry Pi things. Normally, you just do this for free on the internet, but you could actually get paid. So this person, they have a couple things they want. Make sure you have great values. The pibot.com site wants them to stick to their company values, knowledge of electronics, and they're looking for English, German, French, Italian, and Latin and Arabic speakers. So if you are interested in probably remote, it looks
Well,
like
this is kind of fun. You can write articles and review Pi stuff. All the Pi stuff that you're doing all the time for fun anyways, now you can write articles and get paid for it.
Yeah, don't waste your time complaining on Twitter. Get paid to write. Okay. All
Work
right.
from home.
Yeah, all right. So some news in the world of open source hardware, specifically Arduino.
It's Arduino Day soon.
It's Arduino Day soon.
That's open source hardware.
That's right.
March 28th. So what? That's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday.
Wow,
it's
that's so
a
soon.
worldwide event, bringing people together, bringing people who like Arduino together, bringing projects together. Pound, Arduino D15, day.arduino.cc. So on our Arduino Day, what we'll probably be reflecting upon is some big announcements that's coming out soon. So all we can say is Adafruit.cc and
Arduino.cc.
What? Yeah, sorry.
There's no Adafruit.cc.
Yeah, there's a yeah. I should just,
We should get Adafruit.cc though.
Yeah, probably should.
Okay.
Arduino.cc and Adafruit are doing lots together, and I have a special preview of just one part of it. Now, this was already announced, and so this isn't really new
Not
news.
new, but
it's not new news.
We have a box.
Yeah, but here's the deal, folks. This is it. This is the Arduino Gemma that we are making here in the USA.
Look at that beautiful box
here
that
in
we
New
got
York.
made.
Now, because we're finishing up the Arduino Gemmas, we have just a regular old Gemma. So we just
But
wanted
just
to show.
imagine it was teal.
Yeah. So this is one of the first new Arduinos made in the USA that we have all the packaging for. We have Arduino Gemma inside of it. It's about to launch. You can see here, even got the boxes to look nice. So
Look at that nice color matching.
yeah, so that's coming up soon. We have some other really big announcements soon. So, you know, it's coming. Okay, next up, Adafruit Learning System. I hope I got all the ones from this week, but you might tell me if we already did these. You might remember. So,
Well, we had that one week where we skipped
Raspberry
a bunch.
Pi NFC Minecraft was it, blocks. Was this new? I think it was
Yeah,
new.
sure. This
Okay.
this is a new tutorial. This came out yesterday. This is from Tony DeCola, and he's been playing with Raspberry Pi and NFC and RFID tags. So we had a tutorial before on using our PN532 breakout with a Raspberry Pi, but now it's even better because you don't have to give up your UART port because he made it work over SPI. And for this tutorial, he integrated the Raspberry Pi Minecraft, portable Minecraft to build, and Python, which you can use to talk to Minecraft through the API that's available, and this NFC board, so you can basically have blocks that get put down. Like wherever you're standing, it will build up blocks. So this is a kind of a fun way of making physical blocks, and then when you touch them, they create real virtual blocks. So I guess it's backwards. Usually it's the other way, virtual to real, but this is real to virtual. This is a good tutorial if you are interested in like how to use like RFID and NFC projects, how to integrate with Python using, Minecraft using Python, and like getting hardware to work together. So this is a pretty big project. Covers a lot of stuff.
Okay, next up.
This is RasPipe. This is a project by Brennan, and he got a PyTFT, and he was working on the PyTFT kernel with us to get that release. That was an ancient 2 weeks ago. But then he's like, well, I like having this little screen. And it would be really neat if I could somehow like pipe data to it, like using like Unix command line pipes. And so he made a little tool in Python so that he could pipe data and it would appear in the PyTFT. So it's kind of like a side screen that you can use to send data to. And this is part one. There's another part that will make this like an Internet of Things type device.
Okay, next up.
This is a tutorial by Todd, who's been maintaining apt.adafruit.com, which is our package manager for Raspberry Pi packages. So if you have a Raspberry Pi, chances are you've typed in like apt-get install or apt-get update or apt-get upgrade, and you're like, what does that mean? Well, what that does is handle packages, basically like software that you install on your Raspberry Pi. And there's a bunch of software at raspberrypi.org that they've collated, like all the most popular software that they think people want, like Wolfram and Midori, the browser, and like Python games and Scratch. And so they maintain their software, but there's still some software that you might want to install that like isn't part of that. And the best way to do that is to package it up into like a .deb package, but then you have to give it a home. And while you can put it on GitHub, we found that that's a little bit like clunky. So what we instead do is we have a little DigitalOcean server that hosts all these files that will you can use apt-get install to grab these files from Adafruit and install them like in a very clean, nice way. So this has a list of all those.
Okay. Did something happen?
You were falling asleep.
Okay. Okay.
Not that boring.
No, you're not. I wasn't. I swear I wasn't.
And then finally, here's a tutorial from Phil B. And this is running OpenGL games on a PyTFT display. So you can use FBCP to copy games from the main frame buffer, which is like on HDMI, which has like the OpenGL acceleration and all that good stuff. And then you can play those games on a PyTFT by like really quickly copying from the frame buffer. And it works really well on the Pi 2 especially. The Pi 1 kind of works, but with the Pi 2, it's really fast. So for example, you can have Quake that's built for the HDMI display, and then you just copy every frame to the PyTFT. So it's kind of like a way of getting around the you want HDMI acceleration without actually having an HDMI screen.
Okay. What's up? I think I'm okay.
You're fine. You're just passing out. I was just like, I have to like, stay with me.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
I know, but we just have to get through another half an hour. We're almost done. Look, you do tutorials.
Okay, let's do time travel.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back in time.
And
warn myself about some stuff. Okay.
What happened?
Stuff happened. All right.
No, this is back in time travel. What's the time travel thing?
All right.
Okay, I can't do this one.
No, I know.
What is this?
1896, A.S. Popov makes the first radio signal transmission in history. Work as a Russian naval, as a teacher at a Russian naval school led him to explore high-frequency electrical phenomena. On May 7th, 1895, he presented a paper. And then later on, March 24th, 1896, he demonstrated that he could use radio waves to transmit a message between different campus buildings in St. Petersburg. His work was based on the work of another physicist, Oliver Lodge, and his contemporaneous, wow, big word, with the work of radio pioneer Marconi.
I thought Marconi did this stuff, so that's interesting. I didn't even know this Popov guy. Look at this great facial hair that these guys get in these suits.
Yeah.
These guys are looking good.
These are serious radio business.
This is like serious. I wish all ham radio people would wear suits like that. They still have the facial hair, but they're missing the suits.
That's what ham radio needs, suits.
Naval suits. Okay.
All right. We have a video coming up soon. Wearable Wednesday. Every Wednesday we have the best post online about wearables.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen them. They're really good posts about wearables.
I love these posts.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I send you half of them.
You know how many posts that I have waiting right now?
For me?
Yeah.
Like
Do you know how many?
250?
No.
How many?
So you've sent me 784 links.
They're all really good.
They're all really good. And I have to send them to the team. And so I'm just like...
But I kept telling you, hey, you haven't been posting any of them. Is it okay? And you say, keep sending them.
Yeah. It's intense right now.
Well, I have to do something in between playing Candy Crush levels.
I know. So this week we have a cool video from Becky. She went out to the fabric store and she brought a multimeter.
And she's wearing her Stucky Burn hat, I bet.
I think so.
One way to find interesting conductive textiles for your wearables projects is to bring your multimeter with you to the fabric store. Let's go.
Look, it's totally the fabric store, I swear.
Set your multimeter to continuity mode, so it beeps whenever there's an electrical connection between the probes. Many of the metallic-looking fabrics we found were actually printed with sparkly ink or woven with a tinsel-like shiny plastic and weren't actually conductive.
Metallic looking, but not metallic being, sadly enough.
We had some luck in the trim section where we found some chain link and metal beads. These materials can be used as capacitive touch buttons, but probably don't have good enough continuity to power any LEDs.
Is it just in here though? Let's see. I want to find like some continuity down the roll. Come on.
The multimeter is also handy for determining if your metal notions are clear-coated or not. These sewing materials were never intended to carry an electrical current or signal. Their quirks may determine how they can be used in your circuit. This iridescent material, for example, has conductive fibers woven in one direction only. So to make it into a good CapTouch pad, I'll stitch a few paths of conductive thread to connect all of these fibers across. We hope this helps you get creative on your next shopping trip. If you've got requests for videos or questions, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Okay, so that's Wearables. Every single Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a live show. I did a live show today.
Yeah, you did. You did doing this show?
I did a bunch of live show.
You did the show before this show,
Yeah.
and then you did the Wearable Wednesday show.
I wasn't passing out on just a second ago, but I have been up since 5.
You were traveling in time. No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Sometimes, yeah. If you guys only knew what was going on, it's a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot going on. Anyways, 3D Thursday. So I think I grabbed a video ahead of time, and I hope Noah and Pedro aren't upset because this is the video I think they're releasing tomorrow, and so I think I'm scooping them.
Oh, well.
I don't know. I'm driving Wirecast now, and apparently I'm loopy, so I'm doing it. Here we go.
Woo!
Yeah, we're making a prop from one of our favorite video games.
That's right, this week we're making Little Sister Syringe from BioShock.
To build this project, you're gonna need some supplies, some handy tools, but we got all the stuff to build this project in the Adafruit shop.
That's right, the design files are free to download and you can follow the full tutorial on the Adafruit Learning System. Link is in the description below.
This thing is creepy cool. 3D printed in copper filament for the body, and we're using transparent PLA for the bottle, and rubber Ninja Flex for the topper.
That's right, it has a trigger that actuates a push button and turns on the LED, making the bottle glow bright red.
We 3D printed this massive needle, which is a whopping 400 millimeters long. Let's go ahead and take a look at how we started on the design.
We'll start off by searching for reference material and then trace out the paths to make the artwork. We'll then import the paths inside of Maya and then shell out the design parts inside of 123D Design.
To 3D print the parts, we're using the Type A machines Series 1. We're using copper filament to give the parts more weight, and it's also going to give it a really nice grungy and steampunk look when we polish these parts.
You can check out the review on copper fill in this video here for more information on polishing techniques.
Each part takes about 2.5 hours to print.
We found that the best way to remove copper-filled parts without damaging the blue tape is to use a palette knife and a spatula.
Most parts that are printed in copper fill are going to need some cleanup, so we can trim off the stringy bits using our fingers. We'll move on to the haku snips and then the palette knife.
The standoffs are printed with a tight tolerance, so we're going to need to tap the screws using a couple of tweezers.
We designed the standoffs to fit number 256 screws, so you'll want to fasten the screws into the standoffs to create the threading.
Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the polishing techniques. We tried out the Dremel polishing kit and found these 3 bits work the best. The white detail abrasive brush, the 280 and the 320 grit abrasive buff.
Now polishing takes a lot of time, so you're going to need at least an hour for each side to get that shiny finish. You're going to want to focus on one section at a time, try to blend the layers together, and go back over sections to even out the surface.
You can then switch to the white abrasive brush for contours and hard to reach areas. Use the slowest speed to polish the surface without damaging the base layer.
Next up, we'll apply some polishing compound to the surface using gloves, and we'll rub it into the holes to fill in the surface.
The 320 grit abrasive buff helps smooth out the finish and adds contrasting tones to the overall look of the parts.
Comparing the surfaces of these parts, you can really see how well the polished part came out. It's definitely worth the time finishing your copper-filled prints, and it's a great alternative to the rotary tumbler.
To make the circuit, we'll start off by measuring 3 wires. We're going to be using the 30 gauge silicone coated stranded wires for this.
We're also going to use copper foil tape, which we're going to use to connect the rechargeable coin cell battery. We'll cut 2 pieces and add a blob of solder so we can connect to the silicone coated wires.
The 10mm LED is connected to a 6mm tactile button. We're going to need to tin it and connect it to the rest of the circuit. You can read the full guide on the Adafruit Learning System.
Next up, we'll solder the positive and negative connections on the LED and seal it with heat shrink tubing.
The copper tape has an adhesive back, so we're going to need to peel back a small portion of it to stick it to the positive and negative sides of the coin cell battery. Leave some of the backing on so the copper tape doesn't touch the side of the battery.
The bottle was printed in translucent red PLA, which diffuses the LED really nicely. It was also printed without any supports at 200 microns.
We found if you orient the needle on the bed diagonally, we can print it as large as it can, which turns out to be 434mm long.
We printed it in 2 halves and just glued them together using E6000.
Since clamps won't work, you're going to need to hold them together for about 5 minutes until the 2 parts stick together.
The LED itself is inserted into the base of the bottle and it's just mounted in place. Both the bottle and the needle are clamped in place when the 2 parts are joined together.
Before securing it shut, we'll check to make sure that the tactile buttons are mounted in place. Test the alignment of the actuator to see if it lights up. The rubber Ninja Flex topper grips nicely onto the bottle and diffuses the LED when printed in transparent Ninja Flex.
And there you have it, little sister syringe. Definitely one of the coolest 3D printed props that uses multiple materials and of course some simple electronics.
Polishing techniques will definitely come in handy in future copper fill projects.
So let's take a look at what we learned.
So recessed standoffs increase in tolerance with Z depth.
Diagonally orienting thin parts will increase the bed volume by 100mm.
Then we also learned about Dremel polishing tips and polishing compounds.
So if you're thinking about 3D printing your next cosplay prop, definitely check out this stuff from ColorFab and Fender Drives. We got both of those in the Adafruit shop.
Definitely let us know what you want us to build in the comments below, and be sure to hit that like button if you want to see more cosplay props.
And if you want to see us talk about more CAD and slicer settings, tune into our weekly 3D printing show every Thursday right here on the Adafruit YouTube channel.
So that's all for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more 3D printer projects from Adafruit.
See you guys next time.
Okay.
Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah. So tomorrow is 3D Thursday Hangouts. So if you want to see the best, longest running, most amazing 3D printing show online, it's tomorrow. That's what it is.
No one Pedro.
No one Pedro.
3 p.m. Thursday. 3D
Okay. So before we get off to new products, Dakota Standoff.
Hangouts. Right.
2% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. In case you're wondering, while the show is brought to you by the letter I, it's also brought to you by you, so your purchases help us. This is what pays the bills, and apparently will hopefully buy me a cup of coffee once in a while. So when you buy a kit, when you buy some electronics, use the code...
Or like pay for your therapist. I mean, whatever, right?
MOSFET.
MOSFET the therapist.
Yeah. It's nice petting the cat. It's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so.
I do this thing when we get home, and it's called Spider Cat, and I try to have him walk up the walls, and he'll get because he's a cat. His brain starts trying.
He's like, I'm more.
And he's like, okay, and then he
okay.
realizes that he's not Spider Cat, and then he like
He freaks
meows.
out a
He
little bit.
meows, and then I take him down. Spider Cat.
For a second there, he thinks he's climbing like a tree or something.
He's like, okay. Oh wait. All right.
I don't know why you do this to the cat.
Yeah. Spider Cat. All right. So new products this week. Standoffs.
First up,
Just like we said.
we do have standoffs. This is our first new product. And these are 16 millimeter tall standoffs. We have like 13 millimeter tall ones, or maybe 12, I don't remember the exact number already. These are a little taller, and these are specifically for use with the Pi TFT. So the Pi TFTs are a little taller. Next one. They're a little taller than hats, because they have, you can see that there's like this extra tall socket header with like 2 extra little bumpy things. So this lets you attach the Pi TFT very solidly to your Raspberry Pi 2. So if you go to the overhead, I could just show them really fast.
All right. We got this.
Yeah, so these are the standoffs, and like they come in a bag of 2, and you get 2 hex nuts as well. And then when you attach them, they make it so it's like really solid. So you have like this very nice attachment, and you can attach them from the bottom, or this just provides sort of an extra measure of security. So it's a good thing. Add more security to your Pi TFTs. So that's why we have those 16 millimeter standoffs.
Okay. Okay, just want to point out someone else does Spider Cat in the chat. They do this to their cat, and they sing Spider Cat. And then Tony said Carmen, his cat, would not tolerate Spider Cat.
Carmen only wants to sit in a box. I can
Yeah.
tell that this cat is just like, do not just like let me sit in the box.
I just want to point out, I'm not the only one who does Spider Cat.
But people do the worst. Like you said, like everyone does the worst things to the cat. And they just don't talk about it.
No, there's not the worst. It's very kind. Okay.
Okay. You do it for your own entertainment, and the MOSFET isn't asking for it. Next up is the Omnivesa from Pimeroni. This is a little plastic cutout that is designed to allow attaching a Raspberry Pi, especially one that comes in a Pimeroni case, onto the back of a monitor. So it looks like this. Comes with all these little attachment nobules and like standoffs and screws and thumb screws. So, what? What are you laughing at?
You should.
Omnivesa?
No, everything's okay.
All right. When you're over it, there's all these little holes in it, so that like depending on the case you have, there's like a lot of different cases that are supported. None of our cases are supported, but we do have our own like little Vesa mount. But if you have like a Pimeroni case, like this little 8+ case, which is super cute, you can attach it to the back, and I even have it on the overhead, so you can go to the overhead. I can show it off. So let's see, and then let me lock. Okay. So yeah, this is the case, and then the case attaches with these long screws, and then you can use either 100 millimeter or 75 millimeter. So this is like our little monitor that we sell, and now this you can attach the Pi securely to the back, and then we even have these really nice, like shorty HDMI cables. So it's kind of perfect because it just like curls around this way, and then you can just power the Pi and have it be a little all-in-one monitor. So kind of handy little device.
Okay.
That's it.
We got some more products.
Yes.
Okay.
Get these ready.
Yeah. So these are the Explorer hats, right?
Explorer hats also from Pimeroni. We got a shipment of theirs. So that's why you have 3 new Pimeroni products, and we love their stuff so much. So this is
Can
Explorer.
we say like,
hat.
arg, it's a bounty because they're pirates?
Yeah, it's a bounty. So this is Explorer hat. So there's 2 types of Explorer hats. One is kind of the more basic Explorer hat, and I think it's basically a hat, and it has these headers, so you can attach them to the top of a Pi and then have a little mini breadboard. It has 4 capacitive touch buttons, or maybe 8 capacitive touch buttons, and then 4 multicolored LEDs. It has analog inputs. Sorry, that's just the Pro. Sorry, ignore that, what I said about the analog inputs. It has 4 inputs, 4 outputs. It has these 8 capacitive touch buttons, and it has driver outputs. So the driver outputs can drive like one simple stepper, or solenoids, or like a little basic motor, like not a bidirectional, but like just turning it on or off. It can do something like that. And then there's also the Explorer Hat Pro, which is a little more expensive. And can you go to the next one?
Yeah.
It's a little more expensive, but this is still the Explorer hat. So go to this. keep going. Okay, this is the Explorer Hat Pro. It has a longer strip because it has a lot more outputs. So the Pro adds analog inputs and also adds motor outputs. So it's a little bit more advanced. So you can like actually have it do like robotic stuff. It still has the 4 LEDs, the capacitive touch buttons, the GPIO, and like a 5-volt compatible LED I/O. But in addition, it can also do motor control and analog input. So these are kind of 2 little ways to add basic control. They kind of have a little bit of a parallax look to them because they have the little teeny breadboard on top. So it reminds you a little bit of the Bobot. So if you're building like little robots and stuff, these 2 hats are very convenient. They plug on top, and then you can just use wires, and everything's labeled very nicely. So they also have like interface code in Python for these items.
Okay. So let's keep moving along here.
So yeah, you can just get these. Oh, and they all come with a little breadboard on top.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the Sele Logic Pro 16. Or maybe it's a Sele Pro Logic 16. I don't actually. Pro Logic is software though. And this is
what does it do?
What does it do? It's well, we've had the 4 and the 8. This is the 16. It's a 16-channel logic analyzer that also has oscilloscope and analog. The oscilloscope with analog input capability. So it's 16 channels, and all of them can do digital input, high speed. I think it was 500 megasamples per second, 100 megahertz signals, or can do analog signals, plus minus 10 volts, and I think like 10 megahertz signals. Although check the spec page for the exact number. It's basically like digital and analog, so you can do like both signals, which is kind of handy, especially if you're doing like mixed signal stuff, or you have like DACs or ADCs, or if you're trying to like check your power supply to make sure it isn't drooping when you have a lot of logic switching. So this is a pretty hardcore device. It's got 16 channels of input. It's got their awesome software. It can do, it has protection for the inputs. It can do like, I think as low as 2-volt logic, but also as high as plus or minus 10-volt analog input. There's an API.
You like it.
I like it. I use my Sele 8 all the time. I haven't used the Pro 16. This is like the first time I've actually even seen one, but you can see how, let me go back one. You can see here how.
You want me to go to this one?
Yeah, this one. You can see here how there's analog inputs in the bottom 2 channels and then digital inputs in the top, and it has decoders. So like you can tell it like, hey, decode SPI or I2C or serial or UART or RS-232 or like CAN bus or whatever. It has like 20 different decoders, and at the same time you can watch analog signals on other channels, and all channels can be any input. So it's very multifunctional. I'm not even sure what you could use 16 channels of analog input for to measure, but if you want to, you can.
Okay.
Maybe good for especially musicians who are doing like analog and digital stuff at the same time.
Okay. Would this thing work with like a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to?
I don't think that they've ported the software to the Raspberry Pi. I know that it works like with Ubuntu and Mac and Windows for sure, because I know people who've used it, but I don't know if they've actually ported the code over.
Okay. We have.
But you should ask them.
We have a star.
And maybe they will.
We have a star of the show tonight besides you. It's another Pi TFT.
Yay, the Pi TFTs. We are adapting all of our Pi TFTs over from the old style Pi 1. Wait, hold on. You're clicking way too
What?
fast. I'm still in introducing
You want?
it.
Oh, you're setting it up.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay,
even-
I don't know.
Maybe
really.
I should get the clicker. I should.
You wanna do the
maybe I should
clicker?
learn
You-
this.
okay.
I'll run this thing. Because otherwise I'm just like click on this thing and then you're like,
Well, usually we talk about it in order, but
no, but I'm gonna intro because I have a couple minutes. I'm gonna intro it.
you should do
This is
whatever
a
you
big
want.
deal.
It's your show.
I spent a lot of time on this.
It's your show.
So we've taken the Pi TFTs that you know and love, and they've worked with the Pi 1, which had the 26-pin connector, but then the Pi B Plus came out, and then the Pi 2 came out, and so we got all the software working on the Pi. Well, we had to make sure that it worked on the Pi 2 and the B Plus, and we did. And as soon as that was done, we were ready to release this new version that now, as you can see, has on the left the long 2x20 connector. So it has all the pins connected, and it's shifted down, so it's exactly the same size as the Pi. So you can see here, it lines up. It's like perfect, and it has these little break-off tabs. So this is the 3.5-inch version, which has 480 by 320, and it's exactly the same size as the Raspberry Pi, which is really neat. And yeah, you can break off those tabs if you want to be exactly the same size, but those are also handy for mounting and stuff. And then there's a 2x613, it's like kind of classic Raspberry Pi header on the bottom, so you can have a GPIO cable come out, and you can connect it to like a cobbler or like some other board, like a Arduino board or some other breakout or a protoplate or whatever. And it's this beautiful screen, and you can see right now it's in our case on top of the Pi. It has a touch screen on it. You can like run software, you run Scratch, for example. This Scratch is pretty small. You might want to change the resolution for that. You can have it like downsample. It's also really good for text. Like text is really clear because you have quite a bit of space for it. And it has touch capability, and our software is working really good with it now. So on the Pi 2, you can have like resistive touch. You can do the frame buffer copy that we had the tutorial we talked about earlier in the show. So you can have stuff that's supposed to be, if it's will only display on HDMI, you can have it dynamically copy over to the Pi TFT. So I can show it on the overhead.
Yeah, let's do this.
So let me zoom in, and then, hold on. Can you zoom in? Oh, man.
Yeah, I can do things too.
Why don't you zoom in? I'm trying to get it to lock. Hello? Oh, no, it's going to lock.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, can you zoom in?
Well, that's pretty zoomed in.
Oh. No, but you have to actually activate it, don't you?
What? Like, yes, I mean, but what?
Okay, yes. So,
yeah. You could probably lock it now if you want to try to sneak in there.
yeah, actually, I have to have it display like Start X or something.
Okay.
So I'm going to start up the visual graphic thing, and then I'm going to try to lock it on. Oh no, come on. Okay, so yeah, this is the touch screen. So now, yes, I got focus lock. So you can open the software, for example. I'm going to run Python 3. And you can also like scale the display a little bit. Oh, that's blown out. Oh well. Hold on, let me close this. But you can run like most X11 apps on it. This screen's kind of large enough that you can actually start to like actually use it as like a word processor or open up a web browser and browse the internet on it. It only draws like about 100 milliamps. And it works with SDL as well. So like Pygame is what we suggest if you want to write your own applications for it. And we have some tutorials that actually just went live like yesterday, the Pygame tutorial, and more Pygame tutorials coming out.
Who did that, Phil B?
No, that was Brennan's tutorial.
Brennan?
Yeah, because he did the Flask and, well, it's
Cool.
going to be live tomorrow maybe.
Okay.
The Flask
So
and Pygame
Brennan
tutorial.
has one. And
I did one a while ago, and then I
did
think
one.
Toy Decola did the Freak Show one as well. So I think that for
Okay.
people who want to make little portable things, especially because it's exactly the same size as the Pi, it makes for a really great little portable display with 480 by 320 pixels.
Okay.
Yay!
Is that everything?
That's it.
All right, those are the new products. Good work. I was barely helpful.
You were extremely helpful. You provided a great emotional support.
Okay. I'm like an emotional support pet. All right. So with that being said, if you saw these things and you want to buy these things and we have them in stock, Dakota Standoff, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Everything except for gift certificates and EaglePad.
Standoff.
Yeah. All right, we're going to open up for a couple questions and we're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
Apparently, I got to get out of here. Ask your questions in the chat. Engineering questions. I asked the question that was in there before about the Sail. It hasn't been ported over to the Raspberry Pi, but what is the resolution on the Pi TFT screen? What's the resolution?
It's 480 by 320 pixels.
480 by 320. Okay, that's great. Are there any that do more?
This is the highest resolution you're going to be able to get with the 3.5-inch screen that is SPI and not MIPI. If you want a higher resolution screen, the next step that I would suggest is the 5-inch display we have, which is 800 by 480. So it's a significantly higher, and it's 5 inches, but it's not going to be as dense. I mean, like it's the highest resolution 5-inch display you can get.
Yeah.
And then after that, if you're willing to go up to 7 inches, you can get 1280 by 800. So
Okay.
7-inch 1280 by 800, 5-inch 800 by 480, 3.5 inches 480 by 320.
All right, next up. Why isn't there a Power Boost Charge 1000?
Because the PCBs haven't shipped yet.
Oh, okay.
They were ordered like a month and a half ago, and I
Okay.
emailed them and I said,
Okay.
"Where are my PCBs?"
That's
and
a
they're
fair answer.
like, "The PCB house
Fair
forgot to make them."
It's It's a fair question.
I can't actually accuse them that because they said there was a technical problem. I think they forgot about my order.
That's a very technical problem. Okay, can I slow down a Pro Trinket to 8 megahertz? What is the lowest power consumption you'd expect when putting it down into power down mode?
I think a Pro Trinket could probably go down to like a milliamp or so. I mean, there's an LED on there, so you'd have to desolder the power LED. You can get the frequency down to 2 megahertz, but then you won't be able to program it because you'd have to change the fuse from 16 to like div 8. There's a fuse for div 8, but then you wouldn't be able to upload anymore. So I wouldn't really recommend changing the frequency of the Pro Trinket because the bootloader has to run at 16 or 12 megahertz, and the Atmega 328 doesn't do dynamic clock changing, I think. You check the data sheet, but I don't think it does.
Let's do some speed run. You ready? How well does the Pi TFT displays work in direct sunlight?
These are TFT, so they're not good in direct sunlight. If you want to do direct sunlight displays, we have the Pixel Key display, which does work with the Pi, and it's a 10-inch display because there's only one size Pixel Key, but it works great in direct sunlight, and it's dynamic, and it's color indoors and black and white outside.
Any plan to make an RPI PCB for the 40-pin model Pi boards?
I don't know what that means. So
is it maybe the compute module? No, that wouldn't be it. I don't know either. 40-pin models of the
all Pis are 40-pin.
RPI PCB. No, I don't know what that means either. Okay. Okay, I want to make a non-contact measure tank gauge. The range is about 6 inches. Only need 0.1 resolution. What's the best sensor for that?
For 6-inch range, if you need 0.1 inch resolution, I think that a sharp distance sensor might be your best bet. I think there's one from Palolo that has about 6 that we carry. It's in a carrier board. I think it's about 4 to 6 inch range. I think it's tough to get something like sonar doesn't work as well. That's such a short range. So I think you have to go with a sharp sensor.
Okay, when moving from AA batteries to a phone charger lighter plug from a car battery, the electric microphone amplifier module is picking up a lot of extra noise. What's a good way to clean up this noise? So it looks like they just have... did you get to just say capacitors?
No, actually, the problem is that you're using some lighter plug, and it's just picking up all this like crap noise from the car, and also there's probably a switching converter. You're gonna, if you haven't designed your board to have a separate analog input, or like have your electric mic being on like a super filtered input, you might have to power your electric mic from a battery or something, or instead of having the charger directly connected, have the charger connect to like a Power Boost 500C, so it charges the battery, but then you're running off the battery, because you have to isolate yourself. Like, cars are just incredibly noisy. There's motors and engines, and like the battery is just like constantly moving up and down. You're not going to get as clean an output as from a bunch of AA's.
Okay, I can answer this one. Does Adafruit still use USPS? In some locations we do, where service has got to the point where it's diminishing returns, and all the customer experience is basically not so great. We have UPS for those locations. Some locations we just do not offer postal after so many lost packages, refunds. You can go online and look at videos of packages being dumped into rivers in some areas. And what's funny is...
I don't think they're being dumped in rivers. They're just late.
No.
But most of the packages that were...
No, there's actual videos of people getting caught.
I don't believe an Adafruit package was dumped in a river.
In that there was one town that one of these, they had a big loss of packages, and it was the same town where that video was, where they were they're driving the truck and they dump it in. Anyways, we have UPS to locations. That's how we solve it. All right.
You should have a water sensor shipped to that location.
Yeah, okay. Any questions we didn't get to, feel free to post up in the Adafruit forums, forums.adafruit.com.
And we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Let's see, what's next week? Is that April 1st? It is,
yes.
Isn't it?
No, it's April. Yeah, it's April 1st, right?
Oh, man.
I know, is it? Let me check the calendar.
It's gonna be.
It doesn't tell you.
It's going to be April 1st. You can go up a date and time.
Date and time. Let's look. Yeah, it's April 1st.
Yeah. All right. Well, there might not be a show. April Fool's? No.
We'll try.
No, we'll do it. We'll do it. One year, I wanted to trick everybody and think that Adafruit and MakerBot merged, and it was going to be called MakerFruit Adabot, or...
Adabot MakerFruit Industries.
Yeah. What?
Adabot MakerFruit Industries.
Yeah. And because it was during the time when MakerBot was getting funding and they had investors and all that, they didn't think it'd be that funny. So
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
We couldn't do it.
We tried.
Yeah. So maybe this year I'll contact a company who's willing to.
I'm gonna do Spark Fruit.
We could do Spark Fruit Ada Fun. See, they would actually be up for it. We should actually do it.
All right, email Nate.
I think they would. I'll email Pete. Maybe there's some other companies we can merge with.
I don't know. It's just fun to say like mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
You're gonna merge with Spider Cat Industries.
Yeah. After the merger, I'm leaving to spend more time with my family.
With your Spider Cat.
With my Spider Cat. Okay, let's give something away. It's giveaway time.
Okay.
All right. I want to give away you want to give away a Pi TFT?
Well, what else would you give away?
That's fine. Pi TFT.
I mean, it's kind of sad to give away like a set of like brass standoffs. I mean, like.
Here you go.
I can give a Pi TFT 3.5 inch. This lovely, lovely display that I tried to demo while everyone's falling asleep here.
It's a long couple days.
I know.
All right. So, what
Stay
are the
with
rules?
me, stay with me.
I am. We got married. I can't leave. So, what do you want to do for the rules?
We'll just say this every single week. If you've won a fabulous prize from the Ask an Engineer giveaway, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. The first person to type in the correct answer into the chat. Both YouTube or Ustream are pretty synced up, so Phil finds the right one. You will win a prize, a Pi TFT 3.5 inch. So don't enter if you don't have a Pi or if you're not planning to get one, because you're not going to really use it. What's the question?
Well, my question has something to do with Arduino, so I think if someone has a Pi, they probably have an Arduino, so it's okay. And all these work great together. What day is Arduino Day this year? What day, and I'm looking for the date, and number date, what is it? I'm going to be looking in both chats. What day is Arduino Day? LOL is not the date. LOL's not a date. What day is Arduino Day? You can go to.
Everyone's going to celebrate Arduino Day.
You can go to arduino.cc.
We also have it posted on our site, I think. Okay.
The Pi Boy, congratulations.
The Pi Boy, congratulations.
Wow, close one too. Neck and neck in Ustream, and it was almost a tie. I almost saw both at the same time, but this one.
But it was the Pi Boy first.
The Pi Boy, congratulations, the Pi Boy. Email support@adafruit.com.
I bet the Pi Boy has a Raspberry Pi. I just know it.
I think it's going to work out.
I just know it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, the Pi Boy. Email support@adafruit.com and say you won a brand new Pi TFT 3.5 inch.
We'll send it to you.
We'll send it to you.
Okay. All right. That's the
Yay,
show, everybody. Thank you so much. Code is standoff. Don't forget.
10% off everything in store except software and gift certificates.
Yeah.
And you can also pick up some standoffs.
Yeah. We'll see everybody next week.
These are glorious standoffs. These are custom-made
yeah.
standoffs. You know how hard it is to get a 16mm standoff like this?
It's tough.
M2.5.
And then stay tuned to the Adafruit site on Saturday. We'll probably have some big announcements involving Adafruit and arduino.cc.
If we can make it that long.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna be Saturday before you know it.
Yeah, can you believe the entire existence of the universe, all the way, everything that's ever happened has led up to this second right now? Isn't that weird?
Yes.
And does that ever freak you out?
No, it's okay.
Doesn't it feel like there's this like giant thing and there's this point that's moving?
This universe, but there's other universes maybe. I don't know.
There's no conclusive proof on that.
Yeah.
Also,
you said that time only exists so that things don't happen all at once, but you've completely let me down on that.
I know. Everything is happening at once right now.
Everything is happening at once for me. And it's
everything's happening all at once this month. Everything.
I am so disappointed.
Everything, constantly. It's never ending. It's like 4th of July.
The only thing that hasn't happened is a really catastrophic weather event. But like, why?
Winter's hanging on to the last second. That's kind of cool.
There's nothing catastrophic.
Yeah, we already got through Sandy.
Okay, that was like 3 years ago, though.
Yeah, but that was intense.
Okay, but the time separating that from this moment has been sufficient.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with no more weather.
Ever.
No more weather. All right. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all the Adafruit team members that were participating in the show and tell. Thank you, everyone from the Oracle Education Foundation. Thank you all the folks that are here working late tonight, shipping all the packages. And thanks to all the nice people out there that keep this thing going.
Send more lovely letters.
We appreciate it.
Especially if you're not law enforcement. We're totally into that.
Yeah, that's working out.
I mean, that's working out too, but like,
It's all good.
send your nice letters.
Here is your moment of Zener. Oh, wait. Spider cat. Spider cat.
It looks like a spider there.
Here's
You should Photoshop so there's more
Spider cat.
eyes or something.
Spider cat. Spider cat. You can actually see me in his eye when I was taking this photo.
Enhance.
Beepity beepity beep. Beepity beepity beep. Beepity beep beep. Beepity beep. I'm in the cat. All right, here's your moment of
And in
Zener.
the mirror, you can see a reflection.
Yeah. All right, this show's starting to get weird.